Hey man, I just want to share a productivity hack that I've probably found the most useful out of everything. And that's the idea that your brain is for coming up with ideas, not storing them. So, one thing I've realized as I just went about work or study is that I'll just end up with these like random ideas here and there. And what that looks like is as soon as you get a random idea, it's like opening another tab. And then another random idea, random thought comes to mind, another tab. What am I going to do at the gym today? Another tab, another tab. Like, what about, should I use this study scheduler? Should I use that study technique? Should I try this business model? Tab, 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 tab. And what happens when we come up with so many ideas is our brain basically cannot handle all of these. And eventually it just forgets like ideas here and there. And I find that, well, I find that extremely sad, like honestly. Like sometimes I like have these amazing ideas that I come up on the spot, but I don't do anything with them. And so like an hour later or a day later, I just forget about them and I never like, follow up and, make the most out of that idea. And so I've realized that our brain is literally like this browser. When we have too many like tabs open, it kind of like takes up too much of the I don't know the computer term like RAM or like memory or something. Um, but basically, when this happens, it becomes very hard to be productive and be able to focus on one thing. Because as you can see, if your brain looks like this, then okay, maybe we'll go to this tab here. Maybe we'll check out this tab, now this tab, now this tab. It's constantly like dividing its attention among all these different tabs. And so the idea of your brain is for coming up with ideas, not storing them, is the idea that we need to write down like all the ideas that we have as soon as we think of them. That's why I have like, well, I have Apple Notes on my Mac. I have just random notepad next to my bed. I have just like notebooks here and there. So I can write down any ideas I have as soon as I get them. And basically what this happens is as soon as I write down an idea, closes the tab. Then I write down another one, close another tab. And as I keep going, I just delete a bunch of tabs. So eventually, I'm just left with the main one that I want to focus on. And I realize when my mind is just focused on one thing at a time, and it's just this one tab, I'm able to focus so much more like clearer, and it just becomes much easier to be present. Like if I'm having a conversation with someone and I just have like 10 tabs open, like it's very hard for me to actually focus on the conversation. I'll be constantly thinking like, what am I going to have for lunch today or something else. So if I'm able just to like, write it down, then it just becomes much easier to manage. Like even if it's like in the middle of a conversation. So obviously it depends on the context. You don't want to be like a spaz with this, but if it's necessary, sometimes I go, oh, that was a really good point. Can I just write that down? And I just do that. And sometimes they appreciate it. In fact, like most of the time they appreciate it because I'm actually paying attention to what they're saying. And then the good thing is after I write it down, I'm actually able to focus on them more. So it's like a win-win for both of us. And so the takeaway is your brain is for coming up with ideas, not storing them. So if you have a notepad handy or Apple Notes, write down all the random ideas you have throughout the day. And I find that sometimes when I look back, I'm like, wow, did I really come up with that idea? Like sometimes it surprises me because my memory is like super bad. And honestly, it has just allowed me to become a much more productive and happy person. So write down all your thoughts because your brain is for coming up with ideas, not storing them.